What's crackin', ladies and gents? Nerfcore here, and welcome to the 5th installment of Hero Spotlight. Fury Wave, aka Pierre. Great transition character for free-to-play players after awakening Toko. Let's take a look into his skills. So instead of reading the skills, I'll give a summary of it. Wrath of Kraken. So this is a skill that hits all enemies, especially the weakest enemy with more punch. I actually like this skill a lot because when Pierre unleashes it, it seems to put a dent on the enemy's HP, depending on whether you built him for it. And if Pierre hits hard enough with it, it can also proc waiting game on top of it.
See Monster Wave!
It benefits from skill damage a lot, attack, crit damage, and broken armor. Waiting game. Activates when any hero in the fight dies or the enemy is lower than 50% health. The latter is not stated in the tooltip. Waiting game does not benefit from skill damage and cannot crit. It benefits more from attack percentage and broken armor. Ghost Strike. This coincides with waiting game. This reduces the enemy's energy by 30 points each hit, and a chance to silence them by 30%. This has got to be one of the most helpful debuffs for me in X-War, Arena, and single target boss fights. And yes, it can reduce the boss's energy.
Swift Shadow!
See Monster Wave!
Power of Kraken. Straightforward skill. Makes his basic attacks hit harder. As for Pierre's Awaken skill, Deadly Blow. In the first 2 rounds of battle, attack and crit increase by 20%. So it's very straightforward. He just gets more attack percentage and crit increase for the first 2 rounds. So nothing really special, he just does more damage. Okay, now for Pierre's talents. So his first talent, I normally default to Shadow Ambush, but you can also use Precise Strike. Really depends who you're going up against. You can also use Super Shield, especially in PvE content. I built my Pierre defensively to clear Faction Realm 49 using Super Shield, and just all that building him defensively, even with defensive artifacts. For his second talents, so you can use Deadly Blow, Titan Killer, Weakness Found. So Deadly Blow, from what I've learned from the game devs, they advise that this cannot be activated using basic attacks. It can only trigger from skills affecting 3 or less than 3 enemies. This means Pierre's Wrath of Kraken skill that hits all 6 enemies cannot trigger it. Waiting game can trigger it, however. Titan Killer. This is used for PvE content where enemies have high amounts of HP. Weakness Found is actually a very good PvP talent as well, and should be the default choice for some heroes due to how Deadly Blow works. Pierre can also use it, which affects both Wrath of Kraken and Deadly Game skills. Third talent. You've got Overprotection, Ghost Curse, Concentration, Fearless Persistence. Overprotection is used if you are getting a lot of overheals, which I hardly ever do. Ghost Curse is my default choice. You just do more damage with it. Concentration is used defensively against control teams. Any control hero that has a Bell of Chaos artifact is very scary to go up against. Fearless Persistence, if for more just general defensive play. You can also play around with Fearless Persistence to reduce Pierre speed if you're testing a few things on bosses. So for the fourth talent, you can use Death Gaze, Rush Offense, Violent Strike, Defensive Barrier. Death Gaze I use mostly on Quantum Invasion because the enemy is always Einstein that is targeted and never die, so this is very, very consistent. Rush Offense is also a great choice to proc Wrath of Kraken quickly. I've taken out heroes very quickly just with this in arena, along with waiting game proccing if the hero is at below 50% health. Violent Strike is too inconsistent, so it is not recommended, but can still be used if you just want to be different. I put Defensive Barrier in here because I used it on my Pierre, because I had no other character that can use it in the back line. It actually worked out great, and I was able to progress further in XWAR and Faction Realm because of it. If you have seen some of my progress videos, I actually built Pierre defensively to be able to progress. It is preferred to be used on a support character, but if you have no other choice, use it on a character that has a lot of HP. You have a couple of choices for Pierre in terms of Stigmata choices. You can use Storm Stigmata, Vital Stigmata if you're pay to win. As a free-to-play player, you can get these as a 4-star, but it'll just take a while longer while you wait for the events that give it. Vital Stigmata synergizes well with Pierre's Eternal Soul artifact. If you are free to play and don't want to spend on getting a Storm or Vital Stigmata, you can use what I use, which is Judgment, which benefits all his skills. Zealot, this only benefits Wrath of Kraken skill. Sin, Armor Pierce is a must-have. Annihilation, this benefits Wrath of Kraken, which is his main skill, but does not benefit waiting game. I focused more on buffing his main skill, Wrath of Kraken, to do more damage, as it has served me well in arena so far. The substats you would be looking for is attack percentage, skill damage percentage, broken armor percentage, crit percentage, crit damage percentage, and plus speed. For Pierre's equipment stats, you'd be looking at getting attack percentage, crit damage percentage, skill damage percentage, broken armor percentage, and plus speed. When you upgrade to tier 2, you'd want to get broken armor. So Pierre's exclusive equipment, each time the skill waiting game is activated, later damage to the target increases by 5% for 2 rounds. So increases his damage to his target when waiting game is activated, and this increases depending on its level. His level 30 unlock also debuffs the target's attack, which is a bonus, and his level 40 unlock gives him more damage for 1 round. For Pierre's artifacts, for free to play, you have a choice of Eternal Soul, Primal Power, Ring of Oracle, Fatal Judgment. I've used Divine Prayer and Fictional Reality on him for a defensive playstyle to pass some X-War and boss fights. Currently I use Eternal Soul because he benefits greatly from this artifact, but seeing most fights has him less than 80% health, so he does not benefit from the artifact effects. The only counter to this is using the Storm Stigmata, having high shields, and getting heals. Skill damage and crit damage is good enough. Pay to win, you've got a choice of Scythe of Hunt, Misanthropy, and the Boots of Abyss. And I believe Boots of Abyss would be best in slot for him. For Pierre's Relics, you would upgrade his attack nodes first, so this bottom one here, this one here, this one, and this one. So upgrade those 4 first for more attack, and the rest are just more HP. Pierre's Union Tech follows the Union Guide linked in the description below, and you can also see it in the Toko Hero Spotlight video for what I've currently got. Anyways, for his star tech, I've maxed out all the damage nodes, but not the health nodes. I've now switched to the Dark faction. Anyways, his star tech skill is, well, I'm torn between getting his star tech skill or Chloris, but I'm leaning more on getting Pierre's skill here. Waiting game is just amazing. Pierre synergizes well with Toko and Superman team. They are both in the same Union Tech. Pierre is the finisher if Toko has killed the enemy or left them with low HP. You can also pair him up with Paladin, because when she does her Justice Jewel to a target, that becomes the target that is focused on by Pierre. Pierre does well in area of effect teams that leave teams with or enemies with low HP, allowing him to proc waiting game to finish them off. Every team I've put him in on so far, he has been valuable in being able to progress and win in arenas. He's able to exploit the weak heroes, especially in arena. Pierre is just an all-around amazing hero, but he is countered by control teams, tanky teams, and area effect teams. That is why I sometimes build him tanky. Anyways, that does it for the Hero Spotlight for Pierre. See you in Hero Spotlight 6. Thanks for watching. My current favorite game, X-Hero.